What is up, folks? It's your boy Bob Hollywood back with another exciting review. Today's review is going to be of this McFarlane Spawn line. The figure itself is Sinn. Got this guy from Ross for $5.99 right before the Christmas holiday. And I heard about this guy. I didn't know anything about this guy until I saw a review of him. And then I was like, I wonder if I could use that head sculpt or something. So I was able to find him at Ross. I didn't have to spend $20 or whatever the going rate is. And I was happy for that, especially since I potentially only want this for that head sculpt. I mean, he got some cool looking effects in there, which we're going to go over when we do the review. But I didn't want to spend full price for something I may or may not need, if that makes sense. But again, I bought this for $5.99 at Ross. Let's have a look at the box. At the very bottom, there's some legalese. There's a barcode for you. On the sides and the back of the box, well, on this side we have a picture of Sinn, a drawing of Sinn, and on the back there's that same drawing but larger. And this tells us that there are 22 moving parts. This is not my first McFarlane Toys line of this, like, you know, him coming back with these 7-inch figures. I believe I bought Night Wolf from the Mortal Kombat line. I've never bought a DC Multiverse figure, even though I'm looking for some. I'm looking for Captain Carrot. And I do have the Doomsday from the DC Multiverse, but I found that at a Goodwill for like $6. So, anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and free this guy out of his plastic prison, and I'll be right back. Okay, and I am back, and we have Sinn out of his plastic prison. As you can see, he comes with 4 accessories, 3 of which are like effects, power effects, or stuff like that, and 1 is a base. Now, I have a gripe with McFarlane, because I've had other McFarlane figures. I was incorrect in the opening. I can't remember which, but their base is King Shark. I had King Shark. So I did buy a DC Multiverse figure, but I bought it secondhand, but he was new. And they come with bases. They come with these bases. But the bases are attached to the back of the box, like the backdrop. And they're pretty neat backdrops. It's like, oh, this could be a cool backdrop for photography or whatever. But you can't get these out without ruining those backdrops. So McFarlane Toys, please do better. It's not necessarily the way you do it. You could just put this in the same little plastic packing with them. But since I have 1 accessory in my hand, we might as well just go over all of the accessories. So here's a base. It just says Spawn, has a single peg. And you're going to find that both of his feet have peg holes. I'm going to put this on his left foot. He had no trouble standing for me. And now he's on that. It's kind of awkward. It's just awkward. He's a big figure. I guess they figure they need bases because they have opposable toes. But he didn't give me any trouble standing. He might be leaning on his cape right now. I'm not sure. But again, then you have these effects. And this again has a peg hole on this one. So I'm assuming this is for under his foot. So he does come with 2 things to aid his standing. So this will be coming up from the ground like it is. Clearly already was. I'm not going to do it again. I like him standing back there. And this is a clear blue plastic. It looks like something that could be with Iceman from Marvel Legends, depending on which one, but clearly I think this is supposed to be Flames. I believe Sinn, the character himself, is supposed to be like Adam or Cain, maybe. I can't remember which. This one looks more like a blade almost, and this wraps around his wrist. I'm assuming his right wrist. Yeah, I know I just said I didn't want to move him, but let's see. I guess it would go like that. And this one over here, almost like a punching, yeah, you can actually see a hand. So this is for his left hand, very clearly. And I think I would have to pop his hand off in order to get that, because there's a hole. It's not like how this wraps around. So we're not going to try that on. But they all look good. They're all clear blue pieces of plastic. All right, I have the main man in my hand now. He's not the main man. He's that's Lobo, who I also want to get his new figure with the motorcycle. But this guy looks good. He's mostly green. If you didn't know any better, you could say, oh, this was a Green Lantern that has seen some shit, and he has survived. Because I believe this guy's a villain. He's snarling at us. He doesn't look happy. He looks menacing. He's got his hands in a menacing pose. This guy has to be a villain, right? Especially if he is Kane, I believe, the first murderer. So he's mostly green. He's got some silver chains here. These are just plastic. I know McFarlane does some things real silver. Like I bought the Kickstarter spawns. They come with silver real chains, I believe. It's been a while. And they're actually still in the boxes. I've never really played with them. I took their accessories out, but I've never really played with them. He's got some, I can't think of it, but you can see the detail in his arms. Kind of like an Iron Man figure or something. It's also on his legs, but bigger. He's got boots. Actually, his boots look more like just one solid leg piece, if you know what I mean. Like, it almost looks like these are bootstrings, but it goes all the way up his legs. His cape is a little tattered. It's a different shade of green. It's like a brownish green. And you see it's here also as a little skirt. He's got some brighter green dots throughout. I think that would have been cool if these were also that, but I don't know if that would have been accurate. But I think if they had hit all the little circles, that would have been cool. But his face is cool. His face is, look, he looks menacing. He's a chocolate older man. It's like Luke Cage if Luke Cage aged and snapped. All right, so we went over his details. We went over how he looks, and I think he looks good. Let's go over his articulation. So on the back of the box, it made sure to highlight that this has 22 points of articulation. So you saw me moving this head a little bit. Let's see how much that moves. It will rotate 360 as it just did. It gives you some resistance. That's him looking straight ahead. That's him looking down. That's him looking up. So that's actually pretty good range of motion. You would think this collar would get in the way, but it doesn't. And this collar is a softer plastic, just like this cape, just like this cape, just like the chains. The only things that are harder are his appendages. Like his arms and his legs, his head are all harder. And this part under here is harder. But this is a little softer. This is a little softer. All right, let's do his arms. Now, I do expect his arms to be hindered by his armor. But they're actually, it's pretty much 90 degrees. Pretty much 90 degrees, even with that. It's not, of course, going to rotate the full 360 that's capable because this isn't going to give that much give. He has a bicep cut. I don't know why I added a T there. That gives 360. He's got double jointed elbows, which will allow him to scratch his shoulder. And you can hear like the ratcheting of the joints. I love that sound. He's got his hands on a little ball. And so they rotate 360. And I'm trying to figure out, and this left hand has a vertical joint. And I was trying to see if I could rotate that to change it, but I don't think you can. No, you can't. And it's the same with his right hand. It is a vertical joint. His right hand has a slightly different gauntlet, but it doesn't get in the way. Oh, listen to his joints. That's what it sounds like when you get older. He has 2 points of articulation in his torso. One is above the abs, one is below. So you can see him moving, wiggling, squirming. This lower one rotates 360. His top half does not. His legs, this isn't as soft as you would think, so it doesn't allow him to get a full split, but his legs do go out pretty far. And so with his unhindered leg, I'll show you how much he kicks up. That's that much. He doesn't really kick back much at all. Looks like he's levitating. He's got a double jointed knee. and no thigh. I couldn't say thigh. I wanted to say slide. No thigh cut. And his boot is a forward-facing pin. There we go. There is a pivot there. He can rotate his ankles. And I was wondering, because like he was stuck in like a pigeon toe stance. And he also has toe articulation. And right now that's tight. Let's hope it stays that way. So let's stand him again. Yeah, he was stuck with like a little pigeon toe thing. And I'm not judging, folks. I just didn't think that that was accurate, if that makes sense. So let's bust out the members of the review crew. We're going to do the two biggest boys first, because he's a big boy. This is a 7-inch figure from McFarlane. And I'll get you his height at the end since I've already bust out the figure comparison. He is taller than Roadblock. I don't think I've pulled out very many figures that are taller than Roadblock in these videos. And he's taller than Titus O'Neil. So he's a big boy. And I don't even think he's standing up straight fully. So this Sinn is a large lad. So of course he's going to tower over everyone, all the other male characters in this review. John Jones and Lando Calrissian. He's like 3 heads taller than Calrissian. Killmonger and Lucio. Neither of them are standing at their best, but again, it's not going to make a difference. And even the greens on these two, they're different. I would have thought they were similar, but they're not. The last two dudes, it's going to be our Red Ranger and Winston Zeddemore. He is way taller than Winston Zeddemore. Way, way, way taller. So maybe the Ghostbuster would have trouble busting this guy if he was a ghost. And finally, we're going to bring in some ladies. This is a tall woman. This is a tall woman who is actually a 7-inch figure. And look at that size difference, which is fine. She is a woman. The male figures in this line do scale taller than her. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is get you his actual height, since I didn't do it. Then I'm going to let you guys go home. I'm going to let you guys go. His height is just slightly over 7 inches. Just slightly so. So anyway, folks, I appreciate you being here. If you have this figure, let me know in the comments section. If this is something you're looking out for, let me know. If you've never even heard of it, again, I didn't know of this guy 2 months ago, but if you've never heard of it, let me know. Also, do me a favor, hit that like button and hit that subscription button. And then I also need you to do for me is love yourself. Don't be like Sinn, who was a hater, who killed his brother. Love your brother. Love your sister, your mother, your father. Love everyone in your life, especially yourself. And action figures speak louder than words.